I've got all the parts needed to construct a two-post trophy kit. All my pieces are laid out on the table. I've got my packing list and my instructions. And remember, if you order multiple sizes of trophies, you need to measure your columns and your rods to make sure you're using the right parts for the trophy you're trying to construct. The first step is to take a lower rod using the short threaded section and put the coupler together, and then add the eagle trim to the top of that until you have two of those pieces. Next, you pass them through the top of the lid. The lid has a beveled section and a countersunk section on the bottom for a hex nut. Pass the rods through it and then set them on the table. Then you want to take your check rings and columns. You want to make sure the column sits in the check ring and that the lip faces away from the wood. If the lip is facing towards the wood, you'll crush it when you tighten down the column. Put your check rings on the metal rods, then put your columns on, seating the columns in the check rings, and follow that up with an additional check ring on both sides. Then the next step is to install the base. You want to be careful that when you pass the threaded rods through the base holes that you don't undo everything you've just done. So carefully get the metal into the holes, and then it's time to use a hex nut to tighten the assembly. Now you don't want to get it too tight, you just want to get it tight enough so that you can make adjustments, so you can line everything up before you make your final tightening. So I'm going to get it to where I can adjust it. I like to stand it up, aim the eagles, aim the images on the column, and then set it down and tighten it. Now not too tight, you don't want to break anything. Just make it tight enough so that nothing moves when the trophy is handled. Once the lower section is finished, you move on to the upper threaded rod using the short threaded section and a coupler. And then you want to add your figure to the coupler. This is a female victory figure, but we've got hundreds to choose from on our website. You want to take the marble lid, pass the rod through that, and then take your last oval column, pass that through the rod, and attach it to your trophy. Now when you put this together, you can't expect to get it right the first time because there's too many moving parts. So just get the hex nut on the threaded rod, tighten it down just a little bit so that you can make adjustments, centering your column and your figure, and then hold on to the figure when you tighten the hex nut so that it doesn't spin. Again, not too tight, don't break anything. Next, you want to add your trim to the base using a hex nut. Here we've got the star trim. I'm going to attach that, and then I'm going to move on to the nameplate. Get this tightened down, centered. Now, on the nameplate, there's double-sided tape, and it's made of metal. So peel the double-sided tape off, and be careful not to bend it when you're placing it on. Just use your fingers to line it up on the base, drop it down gently and centered, and then press evenly across, and you've got a two-post trophy kit from TrophyKits.com.